Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. It's an Amateur Hour Friday. We are going to touch on that in just a second, getting you caught up with the local town ball scene as playoffs are in full swing. The bad pun was intended. And we're going to talk about that. But first, Corey, we need to talk about the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
Yeah, a couple days ago, they announced a new prize at the FunZone Arcade, the Nintendo Switch 2, officially in the building, in the FunZone Arcade at the Wadena Pizza Ranch. So it's pretty simple. Get into the FunZone Arcade, rack up your points, claim the prize, play, win, redeem, repeat over and over and over and over and over and over again. I do want to give a special shout out to Zach and the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade, because our co-worker Daryl retired, and as a part of his retirement, they gifted Daryl the a mystery baseball jersey that he is yet to open. Programming meeting and programming announcement. Daryl's going to join us next week, Wednesday, and we are going to play the Daryl famous game, Dead or Alive. He has to guess if the player of the mystery jersey is dead or alive. And then we will open the jersey, reveal it, and then give that to him next week. But that's from Zach. He wanted to shout out and recognize Daryl for all his hard work over the years. And that's what we love about the Pizza Ranch, is not only is that it's good food and the games are great, but like they're really good people in like ingratiate into the community and appreciate what people like Daryl do for the community over the course of their years. And we appreciate the Pizza Ranch for their involvement there as well. And of course, just thrilled to have them a part of the Morning Sports Desk here as we broach a brand new month of August. The Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade on board yet again.
All right, Corey. Amateur Hour, Town Ball Friday, and then we got a whole ton of Twin stuff to talk about. So let's get the Amateur Hour business out of the way and talk about this here, because we have not only 11C in the second weekend of their region playoffs, but District 5B, which includes Bluffton, is in the beginning of theirs, and the Region 4C tournament, which includes Detroit Lakes, Midway, Sabika, Nimrod, is all getting started in Detroit Lakes over the weekend. So I just want to give you kind of just a quick breakdown, Corey, of how these games are going to happen. Are you ready?
Please, it's all you.
All right, so no games today. It'll all be on Saturday. August 2nd is kind of the big bulk of the day, and then they get the cleanup games on Sunday. But here's the full day of action Saturday. Let's start in Region 4C. All the games are going to be played at Washington Park in Detroit Lakes. Midway at DL kicks things off at 10 in the morning. Then Sabika versus Roseau at 1 in the afternoon. Holly versus Nimrod at 4 p.m. Warroad versus Foston at 7 p.m. Corey, quick, what is Foston's mascot?
The Greyhounds.
Trash Pandas.
The Greyhounds is our high school.
Yes. So they decided to go with another gray mammal and go with a raccoon for the Trash Pandas. Good job. All right, District 5B, all games played at Terry Geyser Field in Bluffton. Dilworth Rail Dogs versus the Bemidji Blue Ox, and kind of a pigtail game of sorts. There's only 5 teams in this region. Top 2 are going to the state tournament.
It's a team bid?
It's a 2-team region. District.
In the 5-teamer?
Yep.
All right, well, that's good.
Good odds for your Bluffton Braves. Dilworth Rail Dogs versus Bemidji Blue Ox, 10 a.m. first pitch. The winner of that game takes on Bluffton at 4 p.m. later in the day. Ada Athletics versus the Fergus Falls Canes at 1 o'clock. And the loser of that game between Ada and Fergus Falls, and obviously Dilworth or Bemidji versus Bluffton, whoever loses each of those latter 2 games will play at 7 o'clock in New York Mills, because they have lights, and kind of to wrap up action on the Saturday. In Region 11C, games will be played at New York Mills and Perham. Starting in Perham, New York Mills versus Sauk Center at 4 o'clock. Urbank at Perham, 7 o'clock in the winners bracket. Kyle Gilsine, Corey, will have coverage of both of those games on the Amateur Hour Town Ball Tour 2025. on the Superstation K106, 105.9 FM, and online at WadenaRadio.com or the Superstation K106 mobile app. Ashby versus Clarissa at 1 o'clock in New York Mills. Deer Creek versus Henning at 4, again at Russ Jacobson Field in New York Mills. Both of those latter two games are in the elimination bracket, so it's win or go home for both of those. And then, of course, there's a lot of stuff going on Sunday. You can look at the full brackets and kind of get that full picture of who's doing what when you go to WadenaRadio.com or the Superstation K106 mobile app, or find Amateur Hour when you look up Sports Cow on Facebook. Waiting for a moo.
Moo.
There we go. And then wrapping things up on Sunday, too, as well. If Bluffton is playing on Sunday, whoever they play, Kyle Gilsine will be on the call with Amateur Hour Town Ball Tour 2025. Of course, on the Superstation K106 and online, WadenaRadio.com, Superstation K106 mobile app. And the time will either be at noon or 3 o'clock, whichever time. Kyle Gilsine will be there and have it on the Superstation K106. That's the Amateur Hour update. We'll be kind of back with the amateur baseball scene on Monday when Corey will have a real good idea of who's a win away from the state tournament, which will be awesome to see. We could have, if you think of like Bluffton gets one of the bids in 5B, and then in 11C, we could have 2 local teams in there, and the possibility of at least one local team from 4C. We'd have 4 teams down at the state amateur baseball tournament this summer.
Moo. Also on fields that I am intimately familiar with.
Yeah. Your one of your home fields in Gaylord is the host site for the amateur baseball state tournament. It's 4 different sites: Brownton, Hutchinson, Gaylord, and Glencoe. Corey updated me on the local phonics of all that yesterday. So
You're right. Yep.
How'd I do? Did I pass?
Yeah, not bad.
Okay.
Technically, you are looking at a member still, I think, unless they've removed me, of the Gaylord Islanders.
Oh, have they retired your jersey?
No, they
Well,
haven't.
They retired it in the sense of you still have it, right?
Do I have one of the jerseys?
It's been retired because he's the only one who can wear that number.
Indeed, I do. So, yeah, that's who I played for when I played. I think it ended up just being a summer at Town Ball. But caught for them for a summer and hit 9th and really sucked.
But at least you got to play.
I sure did get to play. It was awesome. I loved it. So that's at Walsh Field, and beautiful field. The lake behind the grandstand. Played in Glencoe. All of our Legion tournament games in high school, those games were in Brownton. I never played in Hutchinson. I never played on that field, but the other 3 are the footprints and sunflower seeds of yours truly are embedded deep.
All right.
What do you think?
So when one of the local teams goes down to play there, do we need to have a Corey was here kind of thing where they get to stand there and take a picture with it?
I don't. No one will care. No one will care.
Hey, speaking of things people don't care about, you want to talk about the Minnesota Twins?
No. Can we not?
Well, we brought you on today, so we gotta get your thoughts, Corey. Corey, I want to know, because we talked on Wednesday with Zeke about all the different options, and we said, hey, here's what could happen, here's what can happen. And by the way, last week on the Sports Desk, we mentioned the possibility of a one Carlos Correa's future with the Minnesota Twins. Mm-hmm. So it's fun to see that we spoke it into existence, if you will.
Yeah, right is not the word I'd use, but
yeah, it's we got powers.
We do hold that power, whatever power it is.
So amateur baseball teams, if you're listening, you should have Corey Tackman be telling you who's going to make the state tournament, and it better be your team. He can't be bought, but he can be rented.
Absolutely. Like Dave Chappelle said one time, I've done ads for Pepsi and Coke.
All right. So the Twins sold off 40% of their roster. So you need a 26-man roster in Major League Baseball. That's the number. 26-man roster. The Twins traded 10 of them.
Mm-hmm.
Byron Buxton's on the IL. So 11 of your players who were playing last week are no longer on the Minnesota Twins. Buxton will come back at some point, although he should just head to Georgia and never come back until spring training next year.
Yeah, I have a thing about that. We can do it right now, or we can do it later too. But
Let's set the table here with everything that's gone on. So here's a summary of who departed from the Minnesota Twins over the last week. Are you ready?
sure.
All right. Randy Dobnak, Chris Paddock, Carlos Correa, Harrison Bader, Griffin Jacks, Louis Varland, Brock Stewart, Danny Coulombe, Willie Castro, and somehow Ty France also jumped ship in this whole mess. We were joking as all the trades were coming in, Corey, like, wow, we're not really going to sell off Ty France or Christian Vasquez. And Vasquez is only still on the roster, I think, because the Twins just don't have another catcher.
Correct.
All up. They're like, we actually do need a catcher to get through the rest of the season. So Vasquez, sorry, you're sticking around on this ship.
He probably wanted to stay. He's going to hit third on this new team.
Congratulations. He's the new first baseman.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean, Vasquez played third and second before, so he might be doing that too.
I do. As before we get into the woe is us.
Yes.
You mentioned it yesterday. I agree. And one other addition to that. Willie Castro and the Cubs seems like a really perfect fit.
I will be a big Willie the Cubs are always my National League team. When the Twins are bad, and it's like, what's a team I can just kind of passively follow to feel like I'm still in the baseball scene? It's the Cubs for me. So.
And Ty France going to Canada, where their national language is French, just as fun.
Right. Does he now have to be Ty France Canadian? Like hyphenated on the back of the jersey?
Oh, interesting. Ty France Canadian. Yeah, maybe. Just Ty Francois.
He's Ty Quebec now. So.
Right, exactly. So anyway, that is literally the only fun that's come out of this. And the only fun we are drawing out of it because everything else makes us weepy.
I mean, honestly, Corey, as all of this was coming down, basically once the Correa dam burst, once that move was made, it was clear that the Twins were just going to start rattling off players, right? Like that set the tone for the day because they had maybe traded Brock Stewart earlier. Like there had maybe been like one other trade that had happened earlier in the day. You knew it was Bader. Bader was traded and you're like, yep, that makes sense. Waiting for Willie Castro and Danny Coulombe and, maybe one other trade out of nowhere. Maybe, Duran had already been traded. And all of a sudden when the Correa news broke, I just stood, I was like, because we had talked about on reports on Wednesday, we're like, this is a long shot. Like these are the Astros just kind of asked and that's about it. And like, whatever. And then all of a sudden, 24 hours later, he's traded, going back to the Houston Astros. And once that happened, Corey, it just kind of is like it's like a car crash. You can't not turn away kind of a thing. Like you just can't stop looking. And once that kind of set the tone, I was just kind of like every other trade. I was like, this might as well happen. This also might as well happen. Like at that point, you just are laughing through the pain a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, it was interesting. We should have known better, honestly, that when the report came out like an hour before he was traded, that the two teams were very far apart and it wasn't going to happen.
Especially when it was Bob Nightingale who reported it, who's famous for like saying this trade isn't going to happen. And then an hour later, this trade has happened.
We should have known. That should have been the and I don't know, maybe deep down inside we did. No, I have a bunch of like overarching like questions that have come up from this or themes that have come up from this. It was just like an overall, I mean, the Twins broke a record for most trades in the trade deadline, right? The 10 trades broke the previous record of 9 by the Marlins in some not too distant year.
Yes, the Marlins, they sell off like every other year. Yeah.
All the time, right. So they really, really, really got after it. Now, I guess if there are specific things that you want to talk about, I'm going to let maybe this question lead the way into it. Are you in the angry at the Pohlads stage of grief? Are you in the I'm sad for me and my favorite team stage of grief? Where do you like the very basic, you're walking down the street and somebody goes, geez Louise, did you see what the Twins do? What's the first thing that's going to crop into your head?
Is the Pohlad statue still outside of Target Field? I'm against removing statues on principle, but that is the one statue I will happily remove and melt down and turn it into muscle balls or something.
The opposite. I am pro removing of statues on principle. All statues, good or bad. Who the hell do you think you are? like at best, you are a nice ball sport player. Who cares? That is the least significant thing ever. I really wanted badly, CJ, a Saddam Hussein-esque video of the Pohlad statue being lassoed and torn down. I wanted that quite badly last night.
Do you think they had like a couple extra security around the area? Just be like, hey, you just want to hang around that statue, like just in case, just to like, not to do anything, but just like, hey, there's somebody there. Or I'm not.
No, there was someone there for sure. There had to have been. Screw that guy, and screw that family. Not actually, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, I think there was a reported guard that was waiting there, and he said he did see somebody, but his first thought was, oh no, they're going to desecrate the statue. But they said, oh no, we're just the signage people. We're putting up a Spirit Halloween sign over the clubhouse.
Desecrate the you desecrated your own name.
I mean, the Matt at the Pohlads, I think is the biggest thing. There's a couple different things here, right? There's a few different factors at play, and we'll get to all of these, but I want to be mad at the poll. Let's just get our mad at the Pohlad stuff out of the way, and then we'll kind of piece it from there, because there is part of like Falvey is just taking the L on some of the current core, and like especially Correa. But here's the thing: the Twins were not yet, like yesterday, they were not willing to trade Correa. And remember what the Astros initially asked for, which is they wanted Correa. They wanted another major league player, so like probably Harrison Bader thrown in the mix, or Willie Castro, and for the Twins to eat half of Correa's $102 million remaining. Now, the Twins still are paying 30% of Carlos Correa's salary to not play for them. And the Twins didn't give up an outfielder, but they traded Carlos Correa, and this is just a funny graphic when you see him post it. They traded Carlos Correa for, let me see if I want to do justice to this poor soul, is that they traded Carlos Correa for Matt Mikulski. Who is Matt Mikulski, you might ask? A 26-year-old A-ball player with an ERA of 6. This is the biggest. Remember, like in the NFL when the Texans traded Brock Osweiler to the they traded him to the Browns, I think, and it was just a pure salary dump, but there's like one draft pick involved. There's like just one sliver of a player where legally they can go, nope, this is just a pure trade. We are just trading for this guy, and they took on his entire salary and all the whatever. This is like just the biggest salary dump you can imagine. Imagine you're this guy, Mikulski. You are a 26-year-old in A-ball thinking like, do I just need to hang him up? Like, what am I doing here? I'm making like minimum wage to try and chase this dream. That's obviously not going to happen. What am I doing here? And then all of a sudden you found out you've been traded for Carlos Correa. Like
the energy boost he probably needed for his career.
Yeah. No, my biggest thing with all this, and sorry, I'll let you in here. The biggest thing with all this is I think the Twins weren't necessarily willing to trade him, but my guess is, and this is off of reporting I've read, my gut feeling is the Pohlads were like, well, somebody's going to take on that contract. Somebody will take it on. You need to find a way to make this happen. Like that would be my guess. And Falvey is quoted as Correa said, and is quoted as saying he had a conversation with Falvey where Falvey basically is like, Carlos, this isn't what you signed up for. Like, you didn't sign to this team in 2023 to be a part of a rebuild. Like, we're kind of tearing things down here. If you want out, we can get you out. And he's like, yes, I want out, which is fair. I know a lot of people are kicking Carlos on his way out the door, and there's a little bit of warranted because he was quoted as like saying like, I wanted to play third base, but the Twins just didn't really have it. Like, F you, dude. Brooks Lee could have played short if you wanted to play third. Royce could have played short Royce was out for like the first month and a half of the season. You could have played third base if you really wanted. Don't give me that. Like, oh, I would have did like you played third base because this was your only option to get out. Whatever, it's fine. But like I think the Twins were not going to try and trade Correa, but then basically the Pohlads, and this is the way it sounded in Dan Hayes' article, the Pohlads told the Twins, you need to fire Sale. They told Falvey, you need to fire Sale. And so how mad can I be at Falvey? A little. He's the one who built the team and put them in this position. How mad can I be at the players? a lot because they sucked and that's why they're selling. They could just be winning and then they wouldn't be doing this. But this all stems from ownership. This all stems from ownership going all the way back to the 2023 postseason when fan morale was never higher. Target Field was packed. The stadium was lights out. People loved this team. There were fun players, star players to build off of. And the Twins ownership decided we are done. They slashed payroll by 20%. And then we're mad when fan morale was low. And we're mad when nobody was showing up to the ballpark. They botched the TV deal 6 ways from Sunday. Also by signing Carlos Correa to a giant contract and Pablo Lopez to an extension. I mean, they had to have known that the TV crunch was coming, that they weren't going to be making any money from the TV deal going forward. And if they didn't know that, then they're even more incompetent business people than I thought they were. Like, either you knew a salary crunch was coming because this had been a giant gaping hole for like 5 years that you knew was coming or should have known. And if you didn't know that and you screwed the team by writing checks you literally could not cash, then you are incompetent in that way as well. There is nothing that will save you. The Pohlad family, like the adults, will not see heaven. What is happening here? Just an incompetent organization, and this divorce cannot happen soon enough. Just everything from this ownership breeds incompetence on down. I'm not the one who coined it, but I'm going to say it. Like, again, the Pohlad ownership can be described as penny wise, pound foolish. They make every short-term move that can just screw the team long-term, and they'll smile through their teeth, whether they believe it, and whether they truly believe it and are incompetent, or they are competent business people, but awful in the terms of public relations and just think you're an idiot. I don't know what the heck it is. I'm ready to move on in this conversation. You can bash the Pohlads any way you want, but like, they can't get out the door fast enough. And there is no defense of this ownership group in anything they ever do, ever.
I mean, that's true. That goes back to them volunteering the team to be contracted in the 90s. Like,
they're fulfilling their Grandpa Carl's wish by trading every single player individually.
I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there, right? Like the Pohlads. What was the quote from the K-Fan guide? The Pohlads said they were going to sell the team. We just didn't know it'd be one player at a time.
I mean, remember Carl Pohlad in the 90s made an ad about a kid who was on his deathbed, basically like at a hospital waiting for his favorite twin to hit a home run. But the Twins had moved to North Carolina because they didn't give the Pohlads a new stadium. They put those ads out there. They tried to move the team to North Carolina. And by the way, they promised a big, beautiful ballpark, which they did give us. But they said this is going to come with increased spending. We're going to be able to really open the pocketbooks. And if you adjust for inflation, Corey, since the Twins decided to quote unquote right size the payroll, they're at pre-Metrodome level spending.
Yeah, no, this is the point I was going to get to. Is the sell-off is the thing that is the nail, I guess, in the coffin, right? Where you just like feel it the most as a fan. The thing you get most emotional about, because as we've talked about, like how could a team with this many players that other teams want be so bad, right? That's the question that's been brought up a lot, but. Really the answer to all of this is it's not that they're dumping salary. This is an ownership group that's always wanted to pay as little as possible since the beginning of time. The problem comes in and is that you've had opportunities over the years to just spend a little. You mentioned 2023, like this is your chance. This is your chance to do it. You're in a little moment here. Take advantage of this. And not only didn't even like let it fester. They were just like, we're not spending anymore. We're not going to make any trades. We're not going to spend anymore. We're not going to make any trades. We're not going to spend any. We're going to sell everything off. They just went into well, that was fun, wasn't it? Okay, what's next? And what's next was instant and immediate death. So that was the part that like the selling off from this ownership group is not the surprising thing. It is the culmination of the frustrations of fans over the years of like, you wouldn't even spend, like, screw you. And somewhere Glenn Taylor is tap dancing in his mansion that all Minnesota fans forgot how bad he was.
Wait until he buys the Twins, Corey.
I will no. No,
He's got money now.
Where the Twins play Cleveland tonight. Is this in Cleveland?
Yes, they are not there. They will be home on August 8th. Luckily, they are getting out of town for a week.
There better be nobody at that game. And anybody who is there better be there for some malarkey.
It better be there because you bought the tickets in April. And like, this is your one trip like that you're doing the summer or something like that.
You better boo the ever-loving daylights. You better just boo the, cheer for the fans, right? Like, go Buxton, go Royce.
Go your favorite player.
Go Ryan, go Pablo, like root for the guys. But I mean, boos and hisses and this better get ugly.
It's gonna get ugly because nobody's gonna be there.
No one should go. I told you and Zeke last night, if you guys, I'm looking out for you. This is Big Brother Corey. If you get sad or mad about anything that happens with the Twins the rest of the season, you are mentally unstable. Leave them alone.
Oh yeah, no, this is the only, I will watch, but it's only like, again, you just can't turn away. There's a couple things. One, I do want to see how some of the new players are. Like, okay, like what's the deal? Is there any like salvage? Like, remember in 2021, the year sucked, but like, oh, hey, this Ryan guy, like, seems like he could be pretty good. Like, he could maybe be a guy you could build around or something like that.
Individual guys. You can pull for individual guys, but if there's any team woes that come from this,
no, this team is, wait until the Twins rattle off a sweep in Cleveland, and then we're like, oh, okay, and then they'll lose 4 out of their next 5.
We will not be that way. I will not let you come in on Monday and be that way. I won't let you.
Well, no, it won't happen. And here's the other thing too. This is also like, there's a couple different things. One, this mandate obviously came down from ownership to sell. So to move on from ownership here, if you're Falvey, you can't necessarily hold out for some of the best deals because they are like, you have to kind of just take what you can get. Like, it's selling off your house in the financial crisis. Like, you want to sell it for the full value you think it's worth, but there is outsized factors that are forcing this sale to happen. And
if you're fire selling, you're not in it to get something in return. You are in it to dump.
Right. It's
a big old turd on all your fans.
You bought a car that you couldn't afford the payment on, and you sell it back, and you're like, oh man, I'm still not completely out of the loan. Yeah, man. Like that, you just kind of need to get rid of it because it's like, it's eating money. Like, you need to get rid of it, whatever. Like, so there is a bit of that. Like, I do give Falvey some grace in the sense of like, you kind of got put in a rough spot and you just kind of had to do what you had to do. But the other thing is, this is also again, payroll did have a factor in how the Twins could build their team post 2023. So I do, again, try and use a little bit of grace with the front office in that their hands were tied by ownership. But also, there are some core players like Correa. There are some core players like Royce, who's been weird this year. Like, there are some key kind of players that they needed to rely on this year. A lot of their starting pitching, like, that just didn't happen. And that's on the front office, and that's on the development of the team. This team's offense has been weird now for like 3 years, 4 years. Like, and that goes on the organizational philosophy that starts in the front office. So while I do give like the front office a little bit of grace for how, like, they just got put in a tough spot and things are happening and they've been hamstrung by ownership left and right, there's also some core pieces in this team that without extra payroll or not, they were kind of hoping would take some steps and they just never did. And that's, again, the players deserve, as much as like there's the quote from Dan Hayes yesterday that like one Twins player quoted like, nobody wants to be here right now, which is just awesome to read about.
I mean, it's super sad for them too. Like, some of it is just like, grandma just died. I got to get out of the house. I don't want to be in this house anymore. Can we sell the house? Right. You know what I mean?
But it's also I was going to say I backed into grandma. That might be a little too that might be a little too harsh. But like, this team also just, if you're Griffin Jackson, you're mad about how the season's going. If you're Carlos Correa and you're like, yeah, you know, things just didn't happen. Just was this and that. My guy, you could have played better. Like, if you would have played a little better, the team wouldn't be selling. Like, there's a few of that where it's like, you want to, and it's the same thing with Baldelli. Like, is it Baldelli's fault everything's crashing? No. Could he have also done some things better to put the team in a better spot? Everybody could have.
All right. So
the big word is from ownership, but the point is like, everybody involved with this team has a part to play in why they are where they are right now.
So there's the umbrella to all of this is hashtag sell the team, right? Yes. That's the over. We do not forget any of that, but we'll bring back that question that was asked earlier of how does a team have this many players other teams want and still be so bad? Like that is a very relevant question. And I guess if you want to get like extra bitter and petty about things, if you want to go back a calendar year to this Minnesota Twins organization, let's just a calendar year, not like it's been, they had the playoff win, right? In this era of front office and players and things like that. You had a playoff, a series victory. It hasn't been all sunshine and flowers either. So people have been questioning it for a long time, but we're in that mode now of like, is the coaching good? I mean, for sure, Rocco's getting fired right now. That seems
pretty evident that he'll make the season because somebody has to be the manager. But basically when the Twins picked up, when Falvey picked up Rocco's option for 26, that was basically just him doing him a solid and being like, you'll get some money next year.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, everyone knew that anyway, but but here's the other question. Again, we're going back a year. This team sucked, man. Like they're really bad right now, but they are like quite possibly the worst team in baseball over the last 162 games.
And that's including two of the teams in the Rockies and the White Sox who have literally been the worst teams in baseball ever.
So if you want to be extra bitter and extra petty about this, even though the question is, how does a team with this many players that other teams want, that question exists, are these actually players that these other teams want? Like, you're selling off Carlos Correa in the worst year of his career by an absolute Walmart parking lot distance, right? This has not been good for him offensively. This has not been good for him defensively. We talked about him a week ago. Is he still a guy you think you can trust in big moments? Yeah, absolutely. But the fact of the matter is, for a calendar year, he's been bad at baseball. For a calendar year, this Twins team has been bad at baseball. And it just like, how good are these players actually? Now, it's not just them. You can't just put this in them in a vacuum like you talked about. But they are a part of the equation. If your players aren't performing the way they're supposed to, and the coaching staff isn't coaching the way it's supposed to, and the front office isn't making the shrewd moves that they're supposed to make, and the ownership isn't shelling out the appropriate cash to field a competitive team, that is an addition problem with 4 numerals in it. And every single one of them adds up to a negative number after the equal sign. Not a single person held their weight in any of this. So the thing that bugs me is they don't want to spend any money, the ownership group, and the one place they are willing to spend money is to the Houston Astros. They're paying Houston to allow Carlos to play against the Twins. That part I think is super dumb. But like, is the coaching actually bad? Are the players actually bad? These are real questions here that whenever this team sells, like there's no quick fix to this. And the remaining 2 months of this season are going to suck.
Well, and here's the other thing too. I've been thinking about this in my head, Corey. We talk like these 2 months are going to suck. Like they're not going to be a good team. Like that's out the window.
Real bad.
But, the Twins haven't been a good team since June 1st. So how much worse can it be? Right. Since August 19th of last year, they have not been a good team. So in terms of wins and losses, how much worse can it actually be?
That includes a 13-game win streak.
This year, yeah.
Look at their last 162 games. They're poop. They're poopy. They're a poopy team.
Yeah.
They're really bad.
Really bad. And so that's the whole point of
at least now we know.
At least now you know. At least the mask is off, and at least the team has. The other thing is, you can be glad that they're, because remember, the team could have hung on to Correa, they could have hung on to Duran and Jax and Varland, and because the Louis Varland one is the one where it's Louis Varland is under team control until 2030. that they said they were blown away. They got a top 5 prospect from the Blue Jays for a 7th inning guy, which like whatever, like you got blown away by an offer. That's fine. Varland was good, but was he ever going to be like a closer, Duran-esque level pitcher, whatever? But like you sold off all of those pieces. There could have been a case to keep them together and whatever. There is and again, the ownership said just clear payroll, but it is also a tacit admission of like, okay, we are going to officially kind of break from what I call the Carlos Correa era and just kind of some of those players that are involved. And that includes Duran, that includes Jax as a reliever, that includes some of these other guys. Like we are turning the page, and they say they're getting ready for 2026. I mean, this 2027, like Walker Jenkins, Emmanuel Rodriguez, like a couple of these other Kalen Culpepper, like there's a couple guys who the AA roster and a couple guys in AAA, they're kind of just basically saying we're turning the page from this core and we are starting a new core with some of the prospects we have. And you can hope to supplement them with Royce and Buxton and a couple of the other guys. And so this will be interesting to see now where the Twins go from here, because they can't get worse from how they've been playing, at least on a super huge level. Like they're just kind of going to stay at the same pace. And if they don't, who cares? They're going to be in a better draft lottery spot for a top prospect, whatever. But it will be interesting to see kind of what they want to do from here. This organization has basically declared the Carlos Correa era. I mean, they've declared the Carlos Correa era dead. And who knows? Like, does Pablo Lopez survive? Like, do they trade him they would have traded him if he wasn't hurt, right? Like,
seems like it.
They would have traded him if he wasn't hurt. And you have Joe Ryan, who the Twins couldn't get a deal for right now, but that doesn't exclude them from trading him in December.
I know he said over and over and over again he has a no trade clause. But Byron Buxton's on the table the way that went yesterday, and he didn't get traded. Why, CJ?
He's on the IL.
Because he's hurt.
Now it's on the 10-day with like a bruised rib, and would a team have traded for him? Still probably. But like,
I don't know if can you?
That's a good question. I don't know if you can.
That's a part of it. And also, he's like, what
purpose does he like
what purposes I don't question him.
He said, I want to be a Twin for the rest of my career. I think the implicit thought was that like, and I got Carlos and I got Royce and I got Duran and I got like all these other guys around me and we're going to like be a squad.
But I'm not questioning him wanting to come back. Yeah. But what's the team going to be like? Hey, Buxton, how's that rib feeling? Can you still feel it a little bit? And if he even hints at a possible, like, oh yeah, I still got a bruise.
Basically, they're going to like tap him in that area of his rib cage. And if he even winces, they're like, yep, another 10-day.
They're gonna, yes. So I don't know, man. There's
probably a very real conversation about just shutting Buxton down for the season and let him just be healthy in the winter.
For a 10-day injured list because he has a bruised rib. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. He should, like, I'll be fascinated to see what and if anything he has to say out of all of this. But we have to remember, again, this is all under the umbrella of what? Sell the team. This is all under the umbrella of the Pohlads. You're fascinated to see what's going to happen. CJ, nothing right now is going to happen for at least a season.
Well,
until someone new is in place, nothing's happening, CJ.
Right. Well, and according to Front Office Sports this morning, they have an exclusive that says that the Twins are quote unquote weeks away from a new owner being named. So before the end of the season, if you get a new owner, now again, it's got to be officially official. So they probably wouldn't take over until probably the off season is over, like relatively speaking, or by the time they get in there, like the off season, like all the big moves you could do, quote unquote, like you're basically just kind of doing what the Twins would have normally did in an off season anyways. But exactly, we are going to take a step back. 2026 is going to be, we are not going to try and compete in 2026. And we'll see what new ownership wants to do in 2027. But this is the other thing. Rocco's not going to be here in 2027. That's almost
nope.
And there's a good chance that Falvey's not going to be back either. Like maybe he stays in 2026. He's technically the team president. So like there might be a case of like new ownership takes over and they're like, hey man, we just need somebody in the building for a year who knows everything. And like, we want you to show us everything. You know what I mean? Like that case of like, we can't clean house immediately. Somebody's got to know what the code is to get in the building, kind of a thing. And then we'll clean house. But they also might just nuke it right away and come in and be like, everybody's out. It depends on what time they take over. But like the Twins are nearing a sale. And the other thing in this article is it basically said the Twins salary dumping doesn't really move the needle on a sale, which again is two things. One, like they're just admitting defeat on this core and they're rebuilding. But the other thing is that it doesn't matter. The Pohlads still wanted them to clear money because if they save even $5, they'll be like, look at us. We did a thing today.
So that's the part of it, though, that makes me not necessarily trust this report that there's something coming. Because if it doesn't move the needle, then what?
Because the Pohlads still don't want to write the check. That'd be
But that's my point. They are not going to have to write the check if they sell the team.
Theoretically.
There's no checks for them to write if they just sell the team to someone else. How far are we from this sale actually happening? If they're starting to cut payroll, to me, that means they're eyeing up. They're looking down the line and going, this sale is farther away than we thought and isn't happening as quick as we have more checks to write for a while here.
Well, and that very much could be true. It also could be there is a prospective owner that goes, I really would like to buy the team, but goodness gracious, man, I don't know if I really want to pay Carlos Correa $30 million a year. Like on that, I want to and maybe they're like, hey, if we can, let's clear a couple contracts off the books. Like we'll get Correa off the books for you. Carlos Correa was making half of the team's salary. Like we will get him off the books for you. And if we do that, will you buy the team? That's the optimistic view.
Well, and that's also like, that's what value is. Value isn't like a direct, this is how much money we put into it. There's more to it.
And buying a house and it's like, hey, if you fix these windows, we'll buy the house, kind of a thing.
There's a world where it's like, you think this team is worth 1.7 actual? Well, we think it's worth 1.7 theoretically speaking. So why don't you go ahead and get rid of some of this stuff? And then that allows us to put an absolute imprint. And that's the one thing I suppose we can hope for here is that whenever that new owner comes in, it's like the books are completely cleared.
The world is your oyster.
This is turning into an HGTV show. They're going to come in, they're going to strip it down to the studs and completely remodel, which might be cool because that might mean new jerseys, new hats coming for Twins fans very soon.
Hey, there's a report that the Wolves are planning a full rebrand in the next few years. So
clearly
they should, but the Timberwolves jerseys are the most their generic ones are the most boring in the NBA.
Yeah, no, they look like if you create a team on a video game jersey.
Right. Like they was pretty basic on the Wolves, who were one of the more fun jerseys in the NBA, or at least had some of the more fun concepts. Anyway, but to wrap this all up, so who do the Twins get back in some of this, right? Like what?
Let me start. Let me start with this, and then you can go from there.
Okay.
This is how well this went for the Twins. Not only did they sell off 10 players, and they currently, as of today, they have like 15 guys on the major league roster?
They had like 17, and then I think Falvey insinuated that like Julian was getting called up, so 18. So they need to add like still 8 more players.
I haven't seen an announcement. I haven't
announced anything yet. That graphic, when they tweet, we have made the following roster moves, and it's just a big old I am waiting for that graphic. I've been refreshing my Twitter page to see if it's popped up yet.
One of the guys that they got, if this doesn't make you feel better, the worst name in the history of baseball. In return, they got a guy whose name is Outman. That's not good. That's like having a pitcher.
Scott Blewett earlier this year in the bullpen. So
they had a guy named Blewett, and they also in the past had a pitcher named Balfour. That's not great either. So anyway, welcome to Minnesota, as Brian Harper would say.
The Twins haven't tweeted in 17 hours. Their last tweet was a "Thank you, Willie Castro" graphic.
They changed their Facebook cover page to say "We rise as one." Like, no, we don't.
Why was there just I tried to see if I could look at some news on the MLB app, and the background image for the Twins was like Carlos Correa. So I was like, yep, got to change that.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. The good news is I have some good Photoshop skills, and I have a pretty nice picture of Carlos Correa in an Astros uniform. Who? Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. All right. So here's who the Twins.
Third S to the Astros name. That's what I think about them.
Yeah. It's the DC is the Carlos Correa coming back to Houston, and it's that picture of like the bed sheet over the garage that says "Welcome home, cheater."
I was thinking about fans meeting him at whatever the name of their stadium is, Enron Field. What do they call it now?
Minute Maid Park.
Minute Maid, and all the fans greeting him at the airport with a bunch of garbage cans banging.
Boom, boom, boom. It's a 21 gun salute, but instead of guns, they just all bang the trash cans.
The 5-gallon bucket trash can drum line that sits outside of every stadium in America.
Jose Altuve went to greet him, and instead of hugging, he jumped up to hug him, and then Jose Altuve went,
Yeah.
because he's wearing a wire.
All right, let's do this quick. Who's a new Twin?
All right. So here's who the Twins got back in the trade deadline for this is excluding the Paddock and Duran trades. This is all the trades the Twins made yesterday. They got back Hendry Mendez, Jeremy Valoria, James Outman, who Corey has already mentioned, Garrett Horn, Mike Mikulski, who has already been mentioned, Alan Roden, Kendry Rojas, Taj Bradley, Sam Armstrong, and Ryan Gallagher. Now, a couple players will be on the big league roster. Taj Bradley is a starter for Tampa Bay, who, like the Twins, that'll be like a guy who will just go right into the big league rotation. They need a starting pitcher spot. Like he'll fill that spot in the rotation. Denard Span has already said, hey, that guy, like, you'll like that guy. Ryan Gallagher, Sam Armstrong, Kendry Rojas, of course, some of these guys you mentioned. Here's where some of them slot in. Eduardo Tate, who came to the Twins in the Duran trade. He's a catcher. He's 18 years old. He slots in as the Twins' number 4 prospect on their list. Only Keyshaw, Emmanuel Rodriguez, and Walker Jenkins are ahead of him in that list. Mick Abel, who is the other pitcher the Twins got in the Duran trade with Philadelphia. He ranks as the number 6 overall prospect in the Twin system. He's already made his major league debut for Philadelphia, but he has not accrued 50 innings. So technically, he is still a prospect. Kendry Rojas ranks as the Twins' number 7 prospect. He has an MLB ETA of 2026. Let's going down our line here of just Twins players who have kind of been added to the minor league system here. We also have Ryan Gallagher, who is a 2027 MLB ETA. He's in AA currently. He is the 16th ranked prospect on the Twins list. Hendry Mendez, currently ranked 20th. He's an outfielder. MLB ETA is next year. And there's also Enrique Jimenez, who came to the Twins in the Chris Paddock trade. He is a catcher on 24th now on the list. His MLB ETA is 2029. And that's kind of the big thing. There's some other names in here. Some of them are just a guy. Some of them are like Mikulski, who is literally like the most just a guy who could ever just a guy exist. Mikulski was signed as a minor league free agent for the Astros this winter, by the way. So that's just great. The biggest thing, Corey, is the Twins do, I will say, there is one kind of silver lining, which is that I think the Twins, with getting Taj Bradley, with getting a couple other guys kind of in their mix, adding, with Ryan sticking around and a couple other things, it either means a couple things. One, the rotation will have like some sneaky good depth for 2026 that like will be fun. Or it also means that the Twins have so many starting pitchers that Pablo Lopez and Joe Ryan are goners. Like this, they're already starting to stockpile because they know those guys are going to be gone.
This is very dumb.
This is very dumb. The Twins got a couple good prospects. They got a few top 100 prospects in this. Their farm system was around 10th best in baseball. It will certainly be top 10 for like maybe top 7, top 6 once this is done. And if they trade more players in the winter, it'll certainly get better. But there is nobody who you're like, and again, the Twins we thought this for Nelson Cruz. Like, we didn't know Joe Ryan was going to be as good as he did. Otherwise, the Rays wouldn't have traded him. But like, who knows who becomes what? But Corey, I think the Twins need to break back out the get to know him campaign.
Do they? Are these guys you want to get excited about, CJ?
Twins, get to know him. And Corey's like, is that a threat?
No, I don't want to.
You want me to know these guys? I don't. They suck. That's
like, I mean, yeah, maybe next year. Cool. But like, one of the reasons that the get to know him campaign was so fun is because they were good. They showed signs of life And like, who are these guys? This is like, it was like exasperation. Like, who are these guys coming out of nowhere winning games? Oh, we'll tell you. This is Christian Guzman. No. So good. Active roster,
Corey.
the current Twins active roster includes 17 players right now.
Yeah, Trevor, congratulations. Somebody said the Twins starting lineup for tonight. It just says every position is Cody Clemens.
Mickey Gasper is one of the infielders.
I have seen enough of Mickey Gasper, and I've seen him 5 games.
I mean, it's ridiculous, right?
They are going to employ a quad A roster.
They have 3 outfielders on the active roster right now.
Trevor Larnach, Deshaun Kiersey, and Cody Clemens.
Matt Wallner.
Yeah.
Are your 3? There are 4 infielders: Clemens, Gasper, Lee, and Lewis. Somehow they kept their entire catching battery intact.
Well, you need catchers. You just need somebody you can catch.
I know that. I'm just saying, like, out of everything,
those are the ones that survived. Christian Vasquez survived.
Yeah, he sure did.
The fun part is
no one called about him, unfortunately.
Corey, I got good news for you though. Warm up your arm because you are now the Twins' primary 7th inning setup man.
So I've come across these TikTok videos recently. I don't know where these people are at, but they go around and it's like, how fast do you think you can throw? And they've got a radar gun.
Yep.
And it is hilarious to watch people guess. And
they're like, I can throw like 80, and then they throw and it's like 66.
All the women say something like 32, and then they throw 45. You know what I mean? And all the men are like 78. And then it's never 78.
They're like, you.
So with no warm, you're currently playing, so your arm's in good shape. I think if you were to add, no, I mean, it's at least you've thrown.
At least like warmed up. It's not going to like fall off if I try and throw. Yes.
If I had to just pick up a baseball right now and throw it right now as hard as I could, 50.
And also rip your rotator cuff.
52. If you allow me to warm up, can I warm up? Can I get like a good 20-minute catch session in?
Yeah.
62?
Perfect.
How hard do you think you can throw? Do you know that answer?
No, but the answer is not that hard.
I don't know. I was just total. And then, but they're the same videos. Like, how fast can you run the 40? And then they have a hallway or a warehouse, and they're just running in
like 8 seconds.
Yeah. I don't know what I think. My goal for a 40 would have to be under 7. Can I please, God, get this under 7 seconds? It would be bad, and I'd definitely pull a muscle. Can I stretch and loosen up and warm up? Then can I get it in 6.5? I don't think so, man. I'm pretty slow.
Corey pulled a hammy. Call him Royce Lewis.
Gosh dang it. That was a huge bummer yesterday, wasn't it?
Just such a bummer. I can't tell you. Like, I think the Louis Varland trade was the one for me where I was just like, I don't.
Well, that one also came in like
it was
at 5:00, and
the deadline happened, and then now the news could like leak it out because like they were trying to get paperwork done, and then they told the media
for it finally came out to the world we thought we were safe. It was like 7 after,
right?
Like, okay, Joe Ryan made it, whatever, and then Louis Varland gets traded, and then someone else got
traded. I saw Griffin Jacks first, and I was like, okay, that makes sense.
Right at
Louis Varland, I'm like, oh,
it got me nervous again. I'm like, oh crap! So Joe Ryan is getting traded. He is. It's going to happen. They're just finalizing all the paperwork before it can be officially, and whatever. Joe Ryan made it. I don't know if he wanted to.
Not at this point. I will say I've been on Instagram and I saw 10K takes had how it feels to be a Twins fan. It's like a guy in a Joe Ryan jersey laying face first on the tar while it's just raining, and just you had a bad day plays in the background. And out of all, like, you can see who liked it, and you see all, like, you see all your friends. And then I also see one, I'm like, who the heck is this? Boop. Joe Ryan liked it.
Joe Ryan liked it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a few guys out there who are like, guys.
Yeah, that was really lame. And it's going to be a sad run to
It's going to be a sad limp to the finish line.
Mm-hmm.
let me put it to you this way. August is going to be tough, but the good news is we won't have to care about September because the Vikings and the Gophers, all these other teams will be back.
I have great news for you. If you've got something to do, get it done in August now. There's like nothing you're not missing anything.
Did you think about maybe I could sneak in a game on August 16th or something like that? No, cancel those plans. Go do something else.
Mickey the Mustache Gasper is not going to be enough to hold on to for the rest of this season.
No
offense, retired New York City looking cop guy.
Mm-hmm. You'd be perfect on the Yankees, mainly just because he wouldn't have to shave.
Right.
It will be. I will say, they're not going to do this because of service time manipulation. But dead serious, just call up Kalen Culpepper to be your shortstop because he's the shortstop of the future, anyways. Brooks Lee, I think he could be a nice hitter. He's not a major league shortstop, or at least a high end. He's not a top 15 MLB shortstop.
I mean, if they want to, if he wants to be like a September call up or whatever they call him these days, just to like try to breathe a little life into it, that's fine. But then I don't want that to turn into the shortstop next year because he's probably not there yet.
No. And you know what? Let him and Walker Jenkins keep crushing Double-A and let them come into 2026 in St. Paul and then make them kind of earn you.
As sad as this was, you don't need to rush the next thing happening.
Right, exactly. Gabriel Gonzalez, this will be the last news we'll end on, who the Twins got in the Jorge Polanco trade. He's 21 years old and now has gone up to Triple-A. They announced that obviously a bunch of players are going to be departing Triple-A, so they're going to need to call up a bunch of Double-A players to make the jump. Gabriel Gonzalez, who is a top 100 prospect, and I believe in the Twins prospect rankings is Gabriel Gonzalez the 9th on the Twins prospect list. He's been officially called up to Triple-A. So
I'd rather the Twins have Gabriel Union at this rate.
At least it'll be easier on the eyes.
God dang it.
All right. I will refresh Twitter one last time to see if the Twins have had any graphics about roster moves. No, they have not tweeted in 24 hours almost.
They sent a letter to their season ticket holders. That's the way.
I've seen multiple season people on Twitter who are like, I've just canceled my season tickets. Like,
ask if season ticket prices are going to be cheaper next year.
They certainly will not be.
They certainly will not be. All right, TJ, we got to end this before we both.
Let me put it to you this way. Ticket prices for next year will not stay the same, but they won't also get lower.
Correct.
See you later.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.